This is fantastic. Hey, welcome everyone. This is just wonderful. I tell you, the good news is I was stranded in India for 20 months. I left 4 days ago with all this terror that I have to do this and I have to do that. So I got all the shots and everything. When I came to London, they said I don't need to quarantine, even home quarantine. So I just been, I'm experiencing that freedom of being able to walk. And I think that's in a way very symbolic of the inclusive museum knowledge community. And I'll very quickly explain to you that because I think I got 5 or 10 minutes, and I'll explain to you why we started this knowledge community. And a lot of you, uh, and I'm sure Marriott will remember Theo van Gogh being assassinated outside the Tropen Museum in 2004 November. I was actually running a masterclass for 16 PhD students in the Kinder Museum. So came out and I saw the body covered. And what shocked me was the next few days, there were so many mosques in Amsterdam being attacked, torched, 3 Lutheran churches torched, one primary school with predominantly Muslim kids being burned down. Thank God nobody was killed. And the Dutch, who were the most benevolent in their thinking about multiculturalism, just fell apart. So the minister called a national meeting at the Tropen Museum. It was called Dancing with Diversity. See the carefulness with which it was done. So the minister from Norway, the Germany, all the cultural ministers, secretaries, everybody arrived for this meeting on the 10th of November 2004. And 2 people were asked to address the inaugural session of the meeting. Baroness Lola Young, as some of you might know, is Black British. She was in the House of Lords. In those days, she loved sitting opposite Baroness Lola Young with her thick red lipstick and black boots and using 4-letter words, which absolutely shocked everybody. And the second person who was asked to address the meeting was myself. And I really, you said that, look, we need to rethink what we mean by cultural diversity, multiculturalism, inclusion, all these things. We are still doing this, Dutch and foreigners, Auslander and inlander. So they're still the binary, us and them. We need to go beyond that. So that's how it started, the discussion, and then had long discussions with Professor Bill Cope, who is the president of Common Ground Research Network. And he suggested, why don't you do a research network conference meeting every year? And he helped me. So the first one was launched in Leiden 2008. Why? Because Leiden was really keen to get over the kind of paralysis from the assassination of Theo van Gogh. So every museum in Leiden collaborated, everybody in the Netherlands collaborated, the ministry collaborated, Prince Claus Fund, everybody came on board. So we did the first one, but it went so well and people felt this is refreshing not to have to be politically correct, but actually confront the issues that need to be addressed. People loved it. So we thought, okay, we're at arm's length from any government, we're at arm's length from institutions, we're a research network community. If you look at our international advisory board, it's quite significant for the people guiding us. So that's how we started. So next year, the safest place for me was Brisbane, where I was full professor of museum studies at University of Queensland. Phenomenal. Every museum, art gallery, gallery of modern art, library, everybody came on board. People just loved it. So that's how the inclusive museum movement started, starting in 2004. But I just want you to know, it is not my invention. It's not Professor Bill Cope's. When I worked for 5 years in South Africa from 94 to 99, Mandela had a manifesto. The way he talked was for all people of South Africa. He never said this is for blacks, this is for whites, this is for coloreds, this is for Asians. He said that any transformation has to be for all people of South Africa. You can't work on black economic empowerment without working on capacity building for white establishment, which owned 91% of wealth at that time in South Africa. So it was a he was the one who gave the framework for the inclusive knowledge community. So Bill Cope, drafted, the scoping and everything. And I worked on facilitating it because I was, until 2004, the vice president of, I chaired a range of committees for ICOM. I was vice president of ICOM, president of ICOM Asia Pacific. Most importantly, I delivered the mandate of the International Council of Museums through the Cultural Diversity Charter, which you'll find it on the webpage in the scope of the Inclusive Museum Conference. It was adopted in Shanghai at the end of the Shanghai Expo in 2010. So to cut a long story short, we do not say us and them. It's all of us. So when we talk about change, we're talking about all of us. And it's not politically correct. We don't accept it. We say that let's face the issues, let's address them. And we have a huge knowledge community. It's phenomenal. We have as many members as the International Council of Museums who are in our network, and this, the CGRN, and out of this came also the International Institute for Inclusive Museum, which really is the legacy project of the Common Ground Research Network. So I just want you to know that our goal is to leave a better future for the posterity where we can all live together without being politically correct, but learning to live together, work together, understand each other, where the museum is a civic space for all people. As Mandela used to love saying, let there be land, let there be water, and let there be salt for all people. So salt is really symbolic over here. So I think that's, with that introduction, I just want to welcome everybody. And Tamsin, do you want to talk about anything with the logistics or?
No, well, yes and no is the answer to that question. First of all, welcome to everyone. Welcome to the conference. We have a number of live Zoom plenary sessions throughout the next few days. I'm going to put the event schedule in the chat so that everyone has easy access. I assume you have all been there already because you managed to find your way here. Each panel and each themed presentation panel has a discussion board, as well as the plenary sessions have a discussion board. So if you're watching this video after the plenary session and you have a question, feel free to add it there. We can, I'll make sure that the plenary speakers have access to see those. And so the idea is, if you're not, you may not be in the right time zone, but you can certainly still participate and interact. So that's the only thing I wanted to add.
And Daniel, who is a local host in Philadelphia next year in April, he's here with us, but he will speak at the, hi Daniel, nice to see you. I think the last time was the tango in Buenos Aires, right? No. All right, okay. Daniel, it'll be good in the closing session if you could give us some briefing, okay? Fantastic. Okay, now, I also want to mention to all of you, one of the things that's unique about this Common Ground Research Network on the Inclusive Museum is the majority of our participants are around below the age of 30, majority. We're one of the most youthful, research networks in the museum world. And this became so significant when Alexandra Cummins became the president of, when she was the president of ICOM, that we actually had 100,000 euros released from the reserve fund to create bursaries for young people to participate in ICOM meetings. Because at that stage, most ICOM members participating, well, I tell you what, I would look very young among them. So that's the way it was. So we had an impact. We are really glad that there's an intergenerational transmission with a lot of young people, nearly 50% of young people, a lot of new PhD students, people who completed their doctoral thesis presenting. This is a great platform, and that's why I'm still here, loving it, enjoying it, and really, really, really delighted and honored to introduce our opening